So, when it comes to the topic of motivation, there are basically two different kinds of people, aren't there? There are the kind who are intrinsically motivated pretty much every day, and they have a very structured life in terms of what their exercise should be and when that needs to change, and what their meal planning should be for the day, what times they're going to eat, when they're going to take a day off is structured. And everything is really put together in a way that that person is getting these positive feedback loops because they're giving their body what it needs. They're understanding of that, they take pride in that, and then you rinse, recycle, repeat again the next day. So that's the intrinsically motivated person. Then, of course, we have a world full of people who are not intrinsically motivated, or if they are, it's only for a short period of time. That flame burns out after just a few days or perhaps a few weeks, and then they just kind of crumble. You see this every January, right? Every gym in the world, every fitness center in the world sees this big spike at the new year because everybody says, "This is my year." And then come February, everyone's kind of losing interest and they're realizing they're not really getting the results that they want, and it's really not worth what they're putting in. And so you people ask me all the time, they say, well, what do we do to become more motivated? And there's a lot of ways to answer this question, but I think one of the most important ones is you have to be emotionally connected, not just know it up here, but you need to become emotionally connected with some cognitive restructuring to the outcomes of your positive behaviors, to the good things that you get, and at the same time, the consequences of negative behaviors or of the things that you're failing to do. And what I find is the people who are intrinsically motivated have a really healthy rhythm and a solid cadence and a good understanding of exactly what happens when I work out properly and I'm focused and I'm thinking about what I'm doing and I'm sticking to the plan. Then I feel more energized. I perform better at work that day. I'm in a better mood that evening. I sleep better. They're connected to that. And then, oh, I took a day off when I wasn't supposed to, and maybe I had some alcohol or I did something unhealthy for me, and oh, I felt sluggish. And so it's the consequences and the health outcomes that are at the forefront of the mind of a person who's really motivated, who's got that intrinsic fire that keeps them following that circle of life every day and feeling their best and giving their body what it needs, nurturing their health. And I find that the people who are not so motivated, it's because they're not really connecting the dots very well. They're not really thinking about what's right in front of them and within them and what's happening. So, for example, maybe you know someone like this, or maybe this is you. They'll go out for, let's say, a night of drinking or unhealthy eating or something like that. And then they don't really get the best sleep. And then they wake up the next day and they feel like, oh, like a truck hit them or something, right? They had too much sugar the night before, or they were doing something fairly destructive. And then they wake up the next day and they try to get up and go work out or go for a jog, and they feel like, oh, not today. I'm too worn out. And so not only was the night prior destructive to their health, but now the next day is also failing to move forward and take positive decisions. So you end up with a good day and a half or so there where things are falling apart. And now the very next day comes along and they just had a day and a half of not being productive. So now it feels kind of comfortable to not be so productive and to skip the gym. And there starts being that voice in their head that, well, I don't know, I'm not really on a plan right now. I mean, I tried, I didn't really feel so good. And so they're no longer seeing their identity as someone who's going out there and getting things done for themselves and who's building a future where they stay out of the hospital, right? Out of surgeries, out of medications, and instead they're building health. They're not keyed into that. That's not their identity. They feel like, ah, come on, who am I kidding? That's not really who I am right now. And so that becomes increasingly destructive because each day that you tell yourself that, and each day that you make it more real through your behaviors, is just another day of snowballing those same thoughts, that same self-talk, that same behavior. And so, they're disconnected is the problem. They're not realizing that, if I just didn't go out to eat the other night and drink the beers and have the sugars and the desserts, if I didn't do that, I probably would have slept better. I would have woken up feeling more refreshed. I would have gone to the gym or gone for my jog or whatever was on their mind. And I would have eaten more healthfully that day. It's a slippery slope in a negative direction, or it can be a slippery slope in a positive direction. And so with my clients, what I often do is I'm encouraging them to do the cognitive restructuring with me. And I'm going to show you in just a moment some tricks that I employ with a lot of them. But you want to be in a state of mind where you're telling yourself constantly that you are glad when you go do something positive and you're rewarding yourself mentally, and you have the self-talk that says, yeah, this is who I am. Yep, that's right. I just worked out again and I did a good job with it and I was focused and productive. Good. So now tonight I'm going to come home, I'm going to relax, we're going to watch some TV, I'm going to sleep well, and then tomorrow I'm going to go be productive again, in whichever ways that's going to be, right? Between your meals and your exercise and your lifestyle decisions. You need to have that self-talk. You need to be your own best friend, and you need to participate in your own rescue. If you're not doing that, then you're going to start losing track of what the consequences are. You're just going to think that you're just, oh, I'm getting older and that's all. No, the joint pain is because you voted for it with your lifestyle. The sluggish feeling, the brain fog, the trouble sleeping, the anxiety, the depression, all these things come from not creating the right life for you. And again, the real message I want to get across in today's podcast is, generally speaking, people are motivated when they know what's right in front of them, right? Like if someone held a bag of $1 million right in front of you and said, all you got to do is come get it. If it's right in front of you and you know that you can just reach for it and grab it and it's yours, you're going to want to do that. But if they tell you, oh, there's a bag with $1 million in it, it's back here, and then you got to look through this, you got to climb up this ladder. The more complicated it all sounds, the less realistic it sounds that you're going to go reap that reward. And so more and more you feel like, oh, there's a lot of obstacles to it. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'm probably not going to make that happen. And so that's where people fall off from their motivation. And so some of the strategies that I suggest for you and that I've used with a lot of my clients, one way is that they can put up a photo either of themselves when they were looking their best, or perhaps when they were at their healthiest, or like an old trophy or something like that. It could even be a photo of someone else who's particularly inspiring to them, maybe an athlete or someone famous or something like that. Whatever it's going to take to inspire you visually, preferably with something physical and not something that's in your phone that you'd have to dig for, but something you can put next to your bed or put on your desk. Something like that is going to motivate you, because every time you see it, there's that voice inside you that says, oh yeah, that's what I want to go get. So that's one thing you can do to help put right in front of your face the reminder of what you want to be and what it takes to get there. Now, another thing that you could do is actually record yourself or get a recording of somebody else talking about some of these things that inspire you, some of the things that actually really get your fires going, right? So perhaps you record to yourself, I felt my best senior year in high school when I was running and I was so fast and I was so lean, and I can do that again and I can work that hard again. And I remember the sun beating down on me. Whatever you have to say to take yourself back to that time or to create a whole new time, maybe an experience that you've never had yet. But something that when you listen to it, you say to yourself, yep, yeah, that's right. That reminds me of who I really am. That reminds me of the fighter inside me that's going to go get what I deserve in this life. And so again, it could be yourself talking that you record for yourself. It could be someone else. It could be a video you find on YouTube. It could be anything. But what you want to do then is set a reminder in your phone, set an alarm, set a calendar entry, set something so that you listen to that at least 2 or 3 times a day. If you listen to something like that enough from beginning to end with an open mind and really internalize it, those words will have more and more merit in you. They'll sit in your bones and in your blood, and they will help to inspire you. Now, there's one last thing I want to leave you with, but before we do, if you're enjoying this video and if you're getting any value from it, please be sure to like and subscribe so you can support the channel. All right, on that note, let me go ahead and hit this last one, and that's setting goals. Now, generally, when we talk about setting goals, people think about long-term goals. They say, by this time next year, I want to fit into this size dress, or by this time next year, I want to lose 50 pounds. Those are great for the long term, but it's intangible because it's so far away. So you also want small short-term goals for every week or every 2 weeks, or potentially even every day, having just some little tiny step forward, because what happens psychologically is you'll take those little steps forward each day or each week and you'll accomplish a new goal, and it's something really small, but you say to yourself, yeah, but I did it again. That's one more step on the road to success. And so you can do things like, and by the way, I don't suggest making these short-term goals all be about weight, or don't use weight, by the way. Weight's a very bad metric, but they shouldn't all be about just body composition and just physical things either. Make them things about how you feel, for example. So let's say you're partially dealing with back pain. Let's set goals that your back pain just slightly decreases a little bit every week. That on a scale of 1 to 10, by next week, we're going to go from an 8 down to a 7. And we're going to take the steps to get there through exercise, diet, anti-inflammatory factors, etc. Are the way you feel, your energy levels, brain fog, things like that. These are all valid goals, especially short-term goals that you can set for yourself. And so you'll put these in your calendar, you'll put these in your plan. And so each day you finish your workout or your meal planning and you realize that, okay, yeah, I did it. My goal for today was to get my confidence up to an 8 or to feel particularly alive and energetic in my body. And yeah, I do. I did that today. I don't feel sluggish again. Good. And so those kind of little goals will help to get you to the big goals, to the fitting into a new dress and things like that. And more importantly, they're going to keep you motivated day in and day out. So anyway, everybody, I'm going to wrap this one up. I hope this podcast has been helpful for you. Please comment down below with your questions. If you'd like to get my help in terms of life coaching, health coaching, meal plans, or exercise prescription, you can reach out to me. I've got my website and my phone number all in the description down below. And I've also got some affiliate links there as well for some products that can help get you healthier and happier and living a more fit and well life. Anyway, everybody, I look forward to next time, and please be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you soon.